Hi there, I'm Dr. LaQuita J, and welcome to my YouTube channel where I talk about all things in between being and becoming a pharmacist. How you doing? You all right? I'm going to be honest. This year did not roll out the way I scripted in my mind. I had January 1st circle like it was going to be this day. Everything clicked. Motivation was going. Just to jump out the sky, like the land, like really land on my doorstep with like an iced coffee. But the first week came, and instead of sprinting into 2026, I kind of stalled. Not because I didn't want more for myself, but because I didn't know where to begin. I found myself coming home after work, sliding right back into my 2025 habits, strolling, thinking, planning, but not really moving. And I had to ask myself, why? Why am I still behaving like this year? Like, why am I still behaving like last year when I'm asking God for a new season? I'm asking God to do something big in my life. And I had to give myself permission to restart. Not in a dramatic way at all. Just quietly, intentionally. And that's what I did this past weekend. I slowed down enough to just sit with myself. And I asked the hard questions. What do I actually want this year to be? What do I desire? Who am I becoming? And what choices will reflect that? Because the truth is, new seasons demand a more aligned version of you. Not necessarily a busier you, but a better, more conscious, more intentional one. And if you want fulfillment, you can't keep living on autopilot. And I feel that's what I entered this first weekend. I was entering in autopilot. And I didn't want that anymore. And one thing's about seasons, they don't ask for your permission. They just arrive. They just come and shake your world up. That's how they do. And this season has been demanding clarity, structure, and honesty for me. It's been demanding that I stop winging it and start really architecturing my life with purpose. That's the reason. That's the real difference between drifting and evolving. Drifting feels like familiar but stagnant. Evolution feels uncomfortable, but it's necessary. And this is my space that I'm doing very necessary things. And here's what it got very interesting for me. Once I slowed down enough to reflect, I realized it wasn't just about my routines. It wasn't just about my productivity. It wasn't even just about my goals. It was about my desire. My desire for impact. My desire for a life and a career that really matches my calling, not my credentials. Because let's be very clear, as pharmacists, we're trying to work hard. We're trying to be reliable and serve patients, but nobody really teaches us how to pursue fulfillment, how to reinvent ourselves, how to transition from just working to building a career that actually excites us. And for me, I want that. I want fulfillment. So I've been thinking with that, and I honestly know I'm not the only one. Some of you are watching are practicing pharmacists who feel stuck. Like you're good at what you do, but you're meant for more, and you understand that. Some of you are studying for the Naplex, and you're wondering if all this sacrifice is actually leading somewhere meaningful. you spend a lot of time in school, and we here with this Naplex. And some of you are in that middle space, the post career identity space, where you're craving purpose again, like you once did when you said, I'm going to become a pharmacist. For me, this whole conversation about evolution really takes me back to my Naplex journey, because that's where I learned the hard way that working hard doesn't automatically equal success. When I working hard, even as a business owner, I realized that when I pause, things happen, things change. Like when I first took my first sip of Naplex, I thought it was a grit contest. Early mornings, late nights, flashcards, textbooks, practice exams. I even checked every box except the one that actually mattered the most: effectiveness, right? But after my first attempt, I failed. I told myself, okay, I just need to study harder. So I doubled down. I poured even more time into studying. I sacrificed a lot. Like, I'm going to pour more time into because that's what's needed. But on my second attempt, I had the same result. At this time, the Naplex was scored. I had a 74. The exam had changed. The first time it was 74. The next time it was 74 again. After the exam had changed, all I needed was a 75 to pass. And I remember just sitting there staring at that score, asking myself, what's wrong with me? Why isn't this working? Does this sound familiar? Like in life, we going through these things, and life is life. You ask, like, what's wrong with me? Like, why isn't this working? And then one day, it hit me. I wasn't broken. It was my approach. I realized doing what I was doing what everybody else was doing. And that's LaQuita didn't need that. I needed to first cover all the topics instead of constantly reviewing the big ones. ID, oncology. Oh, let me learn hypertension, because most people got the common comorbidities: hypertension, diabetes, COPD, asthma, and constantly going on that cycle all the time. And I realized that studying harder wasn't the answer for me. I didn't need more content. I needed a system, a way to focus on the right things in the right way at the right time. I needed a study system that didn't overwhelm me with the information, that made the material digestible, and it was centered around my learning style, what I needed. And by me doing that, that's what helped me the most to finally pass the Naplex. And by doing so, I crafted this approach. I crafted and it helped me so much to the point where when I got committed, the study system, like, it literally just started working. And I noticed it changed. It's like, okay. And then other people start asking, like, you passed this and what happened? And I started telling them, and it's like, oh, okay. And I saw it. And even as I tell my current clients now, if you work the play gonna work you. And this is the Naplex Play, one of my flagship programs that I have. And until you work the play gonna work you, because all those late nights, early mornings, and still not knowing what you study or how to apply for a clinical case, it's just not it. Each day passes and you move without a clear plan, leaving you more overwhelmed, more anxious, full of anxiety, and it keeps in this heightened perfectionism. And for me, that's what it was. I became certain. And especially if you're someone who's taking the exam multiple times, the idea of trying again starts to feel exhausting. the pressure builds up, and you start to question even if it's possible. And even relating this back to business, it reminds me of how I felt a couple years ago. I started business when I started forming RPH. In the first 6 months, my mom died, and when she died, it was so many transitions I had to learn and figure out. And I remember going through business community where it was that I'm doing kingdom business, and when I stopped trying to constantly post every single day, constantly go live every day, things shift. It's the principle of me not working so hard, and I stopped working so hard, and I made the most money in business because of it. I'm relating all this to say that if you're sitting here working hard all the time, like you think something's going on, like, oh, let me just work harder, let me do more and more and more. Sometimes it's not it. Sometimes it's just a system that you need. It's simply a system, and you constantly always spinning your wheels and trying to find. It's a system that you need, and that's what I literally do. I help. I help high achievers, particularly pharmacists. I help you get that action plan that you need to pivot in your career. Whether that's Naplex prep, you going through a career, you want a new career transition, or you just ready for a rebuild, like you want that fulfilling that purpose. I understand. I know what it feels like. I've been overwhelmed by the Naplex. I took the Naplex 3 times before I had a successful attempt. I couldn't find a job almost a year, and I finally found a job. And even finding a job, I've been blessed to be in 5 different sectors of pharmacy. It's one of those things. It's the thing. I took all that to help navigate what I needed to do, and I realized that there was a need for it because nobody was here helping. And I started doing just that. I realized that what people needed for Naplex wasn't, they needed more facts. They needed a critical, high yield system that helps with test taking skills, that solidify your test taking skills with confidence and builds you up. They needed that. I realized that once you pass the exam and you started, and I'll never forget, I had this interview with this guy, and he was like, oh, you're not working, you passed the exam, you need to start working because if you're not working, you're gonna look bad. And I was like, wait, what? And that got me into branding and how to brand and market myself for someone who had a gap in her career. Had to say how I'm going to explain this and how to market and brand myself for that. And then, because I got so good with branding marketing, doors just started opening up with different positions because the way I brand and market myself. Where, to be brutally honest, 2 sectors of farm. When I left community pharmacy and went to managed care, that job found me. I didn't find it. When I went back to community and left again, and in the space I'm in now is in public health, that job found me. It's one of those things of, and if I'm saying something that resonates with you, let me know, comment below. But it's one of those things of, we're in this profession and we want more. We want more than just a job title. We want a system to really support who we are becoming. And that's the space I'm in. I'm in that space of creating the systems that who I'm becoming. That's why it was so powerful for me to take time out this weekend to really hone in on who LaQuita wants to become, to be more fulfilled, to have that. And if this sounds familiar, I welcome you. If you're at a Naplex, taking a Naplex, when you need a system, we do have the Naplex study system audit. You can take the exam at LaQuita.com/study audit, or I'll put in the description below. If you are that pharmacist who just need that, like, you understand with this career and alignment, you ready for it, let's book a clarity call and let's see where we can align and help you. Because I just know what it's like. And for me, I do see, even though I am in public health and things of this nature, I do see the different capacity I want to be in public health, and I'm going to pivot into that. This is the season where I feel that we have to be more intentional than ever, because life is going to continue to pass us by if we don't. And for me, I'm being more intentional. I'm being more conscious, but I'm also being more actionable. And I'm developing systems that's going to help me not only achieve goals, but help me with my desires, and also help me with the fulfillment that I desire. And I know I said a lot. I know I said a lot in this space, and I know I have. But if you're in this season where you are just ready for more clarity, more fulfillment, more confidence, more alignment, this is your reminder to allow yourself to restart too. You are allowed to pivot. You are allowed to evolve. And you don't have to figure it out alone. You don't. I'm here. You can book a clarity call for career. Your best next steps for Naplex. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here on this journey. I'm here on this journey with you. Especially if you're here for the Naplex, take the study audit. Take the audit. It's really built to give you direction, not the pressure, because your career doesn't start with a job title. It starts with a system that supports who you are becoming. Because a lot of times we want these goals, but the true question is, who are you becoming in the process to achieve that goal, to become that person? It's really who you are in the process. Until next time, remember that pharmacist only if you are. Now go be great, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.